All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Shayna. I am the managing director here at Host Agency Reviews, and I would love to welcome our next webinar host from the wonderful Outside Agents Host Agency. The OA team is going to take you through how Maggie, Outside Agents' revolutionary AI assistant, is transforming the way that travel advisors work. In this webinar, Chad, who you can see here on the webinar with me, co-owner of Outside Agents, will discuss how Maggie simplifies and streamlines the daily operations of travel advisors, whether you're a seasoned pro or whether you're just starting out. So you're going to learn how Maggie can help you create personalized travel itineraries, automate routine tasks, manage marketing plans and client communication, and organize your workflow. So just as a reminder, before I head out, that please do not forget to post your questions into the chat. We will be monitoring, and if there is time at the end, I'm going to jump back on and we will get through as many questions as we can with Chad. So, Chad, now I hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shayna. And folks, I am so excited to be here. They call me Chatty Chad, and I was talking with Shayna before this, and I have to tell you, this is probably one of the most exciting times in my life. Why? Because I went to school for a long, long time to get a master's in educational psychology. And I've been in IT since the 80s. And so this is the perfect time for me. I'm just thrilled to be here and living and enjoying and exploring this brave new world of artificial intelligence. So today I want to kind of explain to you what AI should be doing for you in general, and then how we've kind of taken it to the next level with Maggie. So what is Maggie? I'm going to just give you a little insight now, and I'm going to explain more as we go along. But Maggie stands for My Agent Genie Generative Intelligence Engine. What does that mean? It generates stuff. It creates stuff. And it has a field of knowledge that we have prescribed for it. What does that mean? So it's cognitive domain. Okay, that's where your mind's at, right? So we've taught her to have her mind in the retail, home-based travel industry business. And we've had her look at everything in our learning management system, stuff from Mike Marchev, stuff from Travel Research Online, some of the best content in the world, some of the best education and training in the world, to be able to interact and work with you. It's pretty exciting stuff. Because nowadays, look, travel agents have always faced an uphill struggle. My mom was a travel agent for 33 years. And my first business was when I was in fourth grade doing brochure labels for the racks. And, you know, the challenges then were very similar to what they are now. And I'll put it to you this way. We wear too many dang hats. Okay? As a home-based business owner, especially in travel, you're the marketer, you're the administrator, you're the salesperson, you are the research assistant, you do everything. And so what tends to happen is that in trying to balance multiple tasks and multiple, hats, we sometimes get a little lost. Okay, we forget to do things. We need a little hand. What we need is a teenage intern. And folks, I was really privileged to be quoted in the Wall Street Journal some time ago as describing artificial intelligence as a teenage intern. Look, it's smarter than you. It remembers everything it ever read. It's faster than you, quicker than you, and it might even be better looking than you. We don't know. So it exceeds you in so many ways. So it tends to kind of scare us a little bit. Well, so do my teenage sons. Okay. So how do I lead them? Well, I choose my words carefully. I explain things thoroughly, and I hold them accountable. That's kind of what we need to do with artificial intelligence. Okay. We cannot just turn her loose and let her run amok because the nature of the question will influence the response. So you have to be an expert in what you're talking about just to be able to ask the question. We've taken some of that pain away for you, and I'll show you how in a minute. Another big challenge was, in addition to time management, was research. Man, I wish I could see everybody right now, but by a show of hands, how many of you still use manila folders, Post-it notes, and some combination of scrap paper and printouts and stuff like that to put together a proposal for a client. I bet you quite a few of you do. Some of you may be really advanced in using Microsoft OneNote or some other equivalent, Evernote or something like that. Folks, there's a better way, and I'm going to show it to you. Another big thing now is personalization. Folks, the day of the royal we in marketing is kind of done. We at outside agents, no, I'm with outside agents, and here's what I think you should look at. Okay, it's personal endorsement, it's authenticity. People want to deal with you, not the machine. Okay, so the machine is there to help you because you're going to be better at it than your customers are. And finally, with regard to marketing and client communication struggles, oh, my mom used to drive me nuts because you had to enter your data into 2 or 3 or 4 different places for marketing to occur. And it was just a waste of her time. She already made the sale. She was moving on. Why am I sending out all these emails? Folks, I can remember my mom taking carbon paper and 3 pieces of normal paper and hand typing welcome home letters. Think about that for a second. Even today, if your workflow is a good one, you're sending out personalized welcome home emails, or at least, asking questions. Hey, how was Mount Fuji and all that kind of stuff, right? We're also marketing. How do we keep all this stuff straight? There's a saying, an adage in marketing that if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So Maggie's going to help us with that too. Now, so that you don't think that I'm just trying to sell you something or something like that, folks, honestly, like I was telling Shayna earlier on, I remember when the internet came around, a lot of agents were resistant to it, my mom included, and she suffered accordingly. It was a thing. The people who dragged their feet, getting their head around AI, not necessarily becoming experts, but I'm saying, kind of resist the change, you're going to suffer like you don't understand. I, in my career in IT spanning over 30 years, have never seen anything like this. I've not seen anything grow and be adopted as fast as this, or demonstrate the potential to dramatically change the future like artificial intelligence. Look, I think that one of my favorite tools out there is probably Copy AI. I use Maggie all day long, but occasionally Copy AI is pretty handy. So I'll kind of show you real quick. This is a workflow that we tested and eventually implemented. What we do, folks, is use really advanced tools to create prompts, personas, agents, and assistants that are optimized, that are going to get good results. That's kind of the point, right? And we also have a prompt bank library where our agents can go in and upvote and downvote and edit and improve things. So these prompts have become really awesome. I'll show them to you here in just a sec. Folks, how many of you would like to have a client come to you and go say, hey, I've got 20K. What can you do for me? That's not the most common thing, but it does happen. Now, what this is doing, and Maggie does the same thing on the back, is it's doing a series of actions. It's saying, look at this and look at that and think about this and look at the other thing, and then assemble something for me. And here it goes. Great to meet you. My name's Chad. As well, because the client's name was Chad. Remember, I put the client name in as Chad, and my name's Chad, so it knows who it's talking to. My name is Chad as well. To get started, I have a few questions. Okay, so it asks qualifying questions. Then it starts researching travel options. And you can interact with it and all that kind of stuff. So what we do is what's called promptoneering. Okay, what that does is, and I'll show you this when it gets done running because it takes forever. The promptoneering allows us to take these generalized tools and specialize them. So folks, I'm going to give you some tips today. No matter where you're at and what AI you're using, give the prompt a persona for the AI. So for example, you are an expert travel agent with a background in river cruise, and you've been on 11 river cruises with Viking, for example. This is going to bring that cognitive domain, that mindset, state of mind, for the AI and draw it in so it can understand your context. I always give this example. If I ask my wife and my barber what the word fine means, I'm going to get at least 3 answers. Barber's going to say, well, your hair is fine. It's kind of, thin. My wife's going to explain to me that it was either okay or not okay, depending on the context. So context is king. And so we're really helping give it some oomph. So here is creating 3 quotes. This is HTML, so it could look really good. And then it writes 3 follow-up emails for you. Puts together Facebook posts and stuff for you, generates a list of relevant keywords in case you're doing some marketing, and then even throws in a little inspirational quote for you, a little thing to talk about. Okay, so that's a generalized tool. That's what that does. I guess I could have showed it to you. So we input this, and we got results. Ask qualifying questions, research travel options, and then it created 3 quotes, and then wrote 3 follow-up emails. Of course, you have to remember to send them and all that kind of stuff. But that's what Copy AI does, and I think it's one of the best in class. But now, let's take a little look at where we started before we got to Maggie. Okay, Prompt Genie. All of our agents have access to the latest, greatest version of ChatGPT available right now. We're running 4.0 Turbo. And we can do all kinds of stuff. But what we've done, Chat Lab is where I get to go do the stuff I want to do. Okay, the stuff I want to have fun with. And then I build out some prompts. And once I get to the point where people are like, wow, that's amazing, then I publish them here for our agents. Okay, but take a look at, for example, I'm just going to go with European river cruising. Now, what we did, folks, is this. We went for our agents and dug into their sales data, background data, the LMS data, the learning management system data, the courses they've taken. And we also reached out to Travel Leaders Network so we could bring in their agent profile, which generates a few dozen leads a year for the agents that are using it. It looks at what you post there and your blog post on your website, and it figures out your brand voice. It figures out your brand voice. Consistency in marketing is absolutely imperative. The brand voice that you use on Facebook might be different than an email, but it still has to sound like you. In this case, I'm using a great agent of ours, long time, kind of a good friend of mine. Her name's Maisie, and we're going to use her agent profile. Take a look at that. Now, what we're doing here, see, with your role as a market research and consumer behavior specialist, we're giving it a persona. And then starts talking about agent client profiles. Gives us a target audience description. It brings out your competitors. Looks at recommendations for distribution marketing channels and tells you which ones are probably the strongest for what you're doing. Then the strategic competition section is just insane, but it took me just a couple minutes. Now, Let's say hypothetically you read through this and you go, well, that's junk. Okay, now you know what junk looks like. Folks, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I've learned more from the things I didn't do quite right or they weren't quite as best they could have been than I did for the things that came out right. So this is a thought partner. Okay, something you can go back and forth with and ask questions and discuss things basically. Watch this. I need an article. I would never mark it under low cost electric. That's kind of an oxymoron, but I'm just going for it. Now, folks, back in the late 90s, look at this. This is a pretty serious prompt. But back in the late 90s, I was a search engine marketing guru. I'm telling you, this is good stuff. You can't fool Google anymore, but you can definitely write to make Google happy. Okay, so here is telling you the type of text, header, subheader, all this kind of stuff. It writes it out, and it's integrating my brand voice as we do it. Now, let's say I wanted to, this was close, but not quite what I was into. Okay. Now, the old school way was log into your website, go to posts and add this page and all this kind of stuff. Maggie's going to automate that for you. I'm going to show you in a second. And then this here I could easily use to go and generate an image. And then go assemble it. But again, Maggie's going to do all of this for you. Look at that. Look at this. This is amazing. That's all AI. No copyright restrictions. It's a beautiful image. It's not a particular shipper, a particular vendor. It's a general thing. I'd use this image in a hot second. So you could definitely go in there and use that like that. A couple other quick features, and we're going to jump on to Maggie. One of my favorite functions is this. For those of you using services like Branch Up and other auto posting systems, folks, those posts are going straight to the bottom. You have to have unique content. So what we did was this. You can go ahead and grab it and do it traditionally, or you can grab Offer Genie. This takes the stuff that we get from the vendors, tone of voice, funny, clever, witty, and very knowledgeable. Here's my target audience. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to hop back in there. It's going to grab Maggie's brand voice. Then it's going to start assembling it for you. And what you're going to get is a zip file. You just unzip it. And what you end up with, folks, is this. downloads the image for you, and it takes the content. And look at this. Look at this. This excites me even now. Oh, hi there, travel lovers. This sounds just like me, by the way. This might be an easier way to read it. It's talking colloquially like you're talking with a friend. It's bringing in some words that Maisie uses occasionally. It's tossing those emojis. It's trying to be funny, but it's being definitely clever. And the exciting cultural immersion, who wouldn't want that? That sounds just like her. Where is your dream river cruise meet? A free land package that's more luxurious than your grandma's China. Trying to be funny, just like me. And you'll note that it's referencing the free land package, which correlates to the complimentary land package offer that I downloaded. Not too shabby. So let's talk a little bit about Maggie real quick. So Maggie, folks, I'm never, ever, ever going to try to help you spend less time on your business. My grandpa had a saying that, I'm half as smart as everybody else. I'm going to have to work twice as hard. I'm not saying anybody's half as smart as anybody else, but, hours matter. But if I can get my agents to spend their time on more meaningful, more important, higher return tasks than this repetitive mumbo jumbo, everybody wins. Everybody wins. So we're trying to reallocate time, not spend less of it. And again, research, personalization, and automation is where she really shines. Okay. Now, folks, at the end of this, I'm going to give away a book, copyrighted book, the published book that I wrote called 250 Power Prompts for Travel Agents. And that'll also sign you up for a once a month newsletter about AI, sharing some of the most or some of the highest performing prompts we've come across in that previous month. Why on earth would I be giving away the good stuff? Because the good stuff will get better. The whole point is that with each use of this stuff, we figure out, I could have this or could have that, and we tune these prompts. Now, here's a thing everybody should be doing that will drive business. It will drive business, but very few people have done it. Now I just come in. For those of you who don't know what a GMB is or a Google My Business page, when you do a search on Google and that box comes up in the lower right and it shows you some of the details of a business, that's a huge business driver, huge. So are reviews. So we've designed Maggie to automatically solicit reviews for you and post them to your Google My Business page. Watch what happens here just with a simple prompt. Gives you some valuable resources. Again, looking at the profile, Maisie's a female, so National Association of Women Business Owners came up. It wouldn't come up for me. Best categories, travel agency, cruise, blah, blah, blah. Best target keywords. Okay, these aren't huge numbers, but that's good. Something that's counterintuitive in search engine marketing is that more is not better. What we want are the right people at the right time. Underutilized local search keywords. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of competition. What can you do? Here's your short business description. Here's your long business description. And you just input this in there and follow these simple step-by-step instructions, and you're off to the races. If you don't get at least a few leads a year from this, you're doing something wrong. So now I would like to introduce you to Maggie. So folks, ladies and gentlemen, Maggie's an extension. And that the beautiful thing about that is no matter where you are, what you're doing, she can help you. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little bit about research here real quick. Creating a client's easy. I don't know how many of you use Travel eSolutions as your CRM, but we do. And I just want to show you something real quick. Remember I was mentioning my mom hating having to enter her stuff in multiple places, all the double duty. Well, in this case, we can skip all that. Here's your client information. And you see this button up here? Add to Maggie. That button doesn't exist on the web page. We put it over there using the extension. Add that to Maggie. And boom, here it is. Robert, all that stuff came on over. If there was an email address, which they should have gotten, they didn't, phone number. But it basically pulled in all the information from here. Yeah, see, it pulled in the address, zip code, all that. So now we create a client. Likes, dislikes, optional, folks. One of the best things you can do is inferential client qualification. What's that? Differential client qualification is when you ask them the 7 common questions. You check your little boxes, write stuff down, you go grab them a quote. Inferential qualification is when you get their reaction to different elements or proposal. Okay, a lot of times we say, I want this. How many have you had a client come to you and say, hey, I saw this great deal in Holland, America. I think it's like $7.99 for a balcony. Book me because I want to go party like a rock star in the Caribbean. Well, client qualification might not, differential might not have led to the fact that they just want to go party like a rock star. Inferential will. Now, come to find out, when they say party like a rock star, the reason that they're going on this trip is they're all just graduating with their master's in fine arts. So maybe Holland America wouldn't be a bad pick. So it's going to help us with this. Now we save the client. Now let's create a trip for them. Give us some more information. thing does an awesome job with special needs requirements. We're actually going to make it so that you'll be able to customize this down here in case you're, specialize in things. Travel experience. Because this is all going to be important to what we recommend, right? And this activities we enjoy would be another list that you'll be able to customize. Save the trip. There it is. Now it's time to research. So let's hop on over here to sandals. And let's say this was some specials or some details I just had to have. So I'm going to save it to Maggie. This is going to be something I'm going to be able to talk with her about later on. It's really, 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 really cool. So we're going to pop it in here. And there it saved it. Let's say I got a bunch of stuff off this page here. Offer details. In this case, because it was a PDF, I had to copy and paste it. So there's a special, and it gave me all this good stuff here. Jamaica's on sale. Go figure. Now, let's say this was absolutely my favorite offer here. So I can save the whole link. And everything you save gets cited and sourced, so you can always go back. But the most important thing is that it's not on a Post-it note. You can see it all at one time. You can understand it and kind of keep it all in your head at once. A few travel deals at Dun Rivers. And I know that Robert sure was interested in this. And then I can very easily take a screenshot and go back and talk about it. Oh, the file's too large. But anyway, you can upload it and you can go back and chat with it. This is what just boggles the mind. Let's go back in here real quick and now we just grab all this information, right? And man, I don't want to read all this. Does it have a private pool? Well, let's find out. Private pool references over in here. So this is what they call hallucination, but here is the information you wanted. What is the lowest priced option? The text. Now here's a little boo-boo it made. And this is why we have to double check what she's doing all the time. Okay. But what I would do is it will come up. This is why it says bait up here. But the point being, there we go. There we go. Honeymoon bungalows, typically a private location, offers all this. So it's explaining everything to you. Basically, the reason it's throwing this little knowledge up here is because we haven't trained her on this specifically yet, but you have. This information is now available to you anytime and anywhere. So, research assistant, very cool. This also allows us to repurpose content. Okay, so once I have this stuff in here, I can always go back and interact with the stuff that I've saved. So if I've been putting together an FIT for 3 weeks for a client, she's going to be able to sort through it and tell me all about it. Now here's where the rubber hits the road. And folks, I want you to understand how cool this is. So because Maggie can see what you're doing, because you're interacting with her, and because you're providing her with the research and all that kind of stuff, all under your total control, she's able to offer you what we call nudges. She sees your sales background. She sees your personality profile. She sees your bio genie. She sees your TLN profile. She sees your blog. She has an idea about who you are and what you're doing. And it's asking me, it's offering me suggestions here and there. So of these recommendations, I decided to jump on this. Right now, we're using Instagram. Post about a and then I can always reference any more stuff that I may have done research on. But now, while it's doing that, folks, I want you to understand something. Maggie connects to your calendars So if I set it on the agenda, it's going to show up my Outlook or Gmail. We're working on other platforms now too. It is also integrated as of the end of the week with your email, which means you can send and receive emails without having to hop through different applications. Look, folks, I'm 55 years old. If I stand up, I might forget what I was doing. Lord knows if I hop over to another application, I can get distracted real easy. Now look at this. This return from most incredible stay in adventures, water, island hopping. I could add a file to it. We could post it now. I'm live, so I don't want to do it. We could schedule the post. We could add a reminder. You're in total control. Let's add a reminder that I would like for it to post that tomorrow around noon. On a similar vein, we can do something like this. Now, because we are connected to my website, I make a blog here, it posts a blog here. Some of you are saying, blogs? That's so 1990. No, email and blogs are coming back with a vengeance, and fresh content is Google's best friend. Maggie's going to help you do that. Title of this blog is I'm just going to say Costa Rica. How many words you want? Professional. I'm going to say candid. Now it's going to create this blog post. It's going to optimize it for search engine purposes. It's going to generate this content. Put it in proper format. Now, I've done a lot of posting, written a lot of articles in my life. I'm telling you, the angry blank page drives me nuts. This is a way to get past that. So here's an introduction. Here's a follow-up. Here's a couple more. You can make this into a dang series. If you don't like it, hit the refresh, regenerate button, and it'll tune it up for you. I mean, Lord, how amazing is that? Right now, my sync has been disconnected for testing purposes. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this to my agenda. Now I'm going to get reminded of that later on. Well, unfortunately, we're in beta, but the point is that we can connect to email, to social media accounts, all kinds of stuff, and automatically post. So when I'm in this blog environment, embark on this, blog sync successfully. Well, let's check that out. It'll show up in a moment. Folks, the point is this. The final release is coming out this Friday, and all this little last-minute stuff will be taken care of. The bottom line is this is going to elevate your marketing. This is absolutely going to take you to the next level. Then in addition, we just released dynamic destination guides, which are going to lead us ultimately to being able to dynamically create robust proposals based around a destination and travel guide. So for those of you that are doing higher end stuff that, you know, warrants a little extra icing on the cake, so to speak, this is going to blow your mind. Anyway, then it would show up here. I think the team's been working on this quite a bit. Folks, the main thing I wanted to show you here is what it will do. Now, we can take all this content and repurpose it. How cool would it be to work hours and hours and hours on a trip to Paris for a couple, and then they don't buy it? How many of you have been through that? It's like time and money out the window, right? No. You take that proposal, run it through Maggie. She'll repurpose it for Facebook posts, emails, follow-up reminders, all kinds of stuff. Follow-up emails, so that it's not a binary situation. Did you make the sale or did you not make the sale? Okay, maybe we didn't make the sale yet, but we're going to nurture it over time. Maggie's going to help you do that. And then obviously task prioritization. Maggie's going to say, hey, you might want to take a look at this. It's been on your snooze for quite a while. Or, hey, I see that you've been working on a lot of Alaska stuff lately, but you haven't completed your Princess Commodore training. Did you know that Princess offers some of the best training on Alaska anywhere? And then it'll give you a link to go jump back in there. So she's intelligently encouraging you, kind of like a mentor, a coach, a buddy, a friend, to go do things. And because she automates a lot of stuff, it's very helpful. But please understand this. This is fundamentally human. From start to finish, this is about you, not a machine. This is about your clients, not a machine. Folks, remember, you sell emotions. You don't sell ships. You don't sell anything but emotions. They're triggered by memories and photographs. That's great. But you have to be in the emotional game. That requires consistency. And because of the concerns we have about people just click post, and making themselves look like a robot, everything that we do is agent in, agent out. You are the boss. You are the intern's leader. The intern comes to you and says, hey, can I do this for you? You say, sure, yeah, go. Have a great time. Let me check that before you hand it to the client. So nothing happens without your express consent. Now, I just wanted to tell you a couple of success stories. One, the first person that ever used it was like Veronica Salt on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We don't know what happened, but we know it's powerful magic, folks. No, I'm kidding. It's actually Amber. And Amber's our director of digital education here. And she confided in me the other day. She says, I use Maggie for everything. I said, really? Oh, yeah. Outlines of coursework, detailed itineraries and trip planning for demonstration. And she also sells travel on the side. Most of our employees do. She's using it with every single one of her clients. And she says it's cut her work time down by 30% and increased her return by about 40%. Not too shabby. Jean is new with us. She's our director of social media education. And she started to use it as well. She also sells travel on the side. But she is ecstatic about what we call hyper personalization. She knows that the secret sauce of social media is to speak broadly and make it feel like you're speaking narrowly to just one person. You can't speak to everyone because then you're speaking to no one. And then top producers are reporting about a 60% time savings on what we call administrative tasks, which is to include marketing, advertising, branding, accounting, all that good stuff. The top producers are in love with it for different reasons than newbies, but just the ability to schedule something in sync is huge. So remember, at the end of the day, we want to reallocate your time. We don't want to save you time. We want to reallocate it to more important, higher yield activities. We want to transform your operations. Look, we've got all kinds of workflows and what we call spell books for you. But AI is going to fundamentally change how you do business. So you want to be working in an environment where you can save your prompts, because ultimately those prompts will become your spell book. It's not about what questions you can ask. It's about how you can ask them. So, for example, these kind of things. So now, folks, I promised you a free treat here at the end of this. So I just wanted to very quickly Yeah, they said it failed to post. That's just kind of an issue right now. I got to get with the tech team. I think they're doing some work on the database, but trust me, it works. I wouldn't be showing all this stuff. And matter of fact, Hardik, our lead, is chiming in here trying to show us. So I just posted the address for 250 power prompts. Now, the password is this. OA strong. Now, if you folks go ahead and sign up, because we're going to need your email address for you to download it, and then you decide to call me, I'll give you another 250 prompts that are even better than these. Okay. Do I want to try to talk you into joining? Absolutely. But I also want to get your feedback. I want to get your insights. You folks are the people who do this for a living. I just kind of try to pretend that I do. Now, God gave me these ears for a reason. I listen, and I just want to talk to you. So you'll get the book there for free. And then if you call me, I'll give you even more of them. Now, how do you get hold of me? Well, here we go. (866-208-5604). My extension is 210. My business partner, Steve, is at 312. Call us, talk to us. I'll probably mention once or twice that we'd love to have you on board, but more importantly, we're colleagues, man. We're peers in this industry. I want to hear from you and hear what you think and how we can help. Now, having said all that, are there some questions? Oh, you're on mute, Shana.
I do
or
that every
mime over them.
time. At work last year, I won the award for the person who speaks on mute the most. So
Awesome.
at least I'm keeping up with it, right? So that's no, things have not changed. But there's a lot of love in the comments. And thank you to everybody. You're making people question which host they're going to go with. So that's the power of Maggie among the many other things that you showed us. I do have a couple questions. I do have one comment that I wanted to share with you. It's from Shannon, who said, since I'm a new agent, I'm currently creating my website and marketing materials, and I'm using AI, and it's been a game changer, but this is next level.
Yes.
So I just wanted to share that with you before I get into some of the questions.
Thank you, Shannon. I got a lot of agents doing that, and what they find is that, my dad was a cop, and when he was in his uniform, he answered questions in a very specific way. Once he came home and changed his clothes, it was a little bit different. So when you're a professional and you're in that mindset, your answers tend to reflect that frame of mind. So he'd answer things like, get on the ground, stop complaining about the gun to your head. No, I'm kidding. So Maggie has been taught on very specific bodies of knowledge. And so the game changing is not just a general response. It's not fluff, man. This is legit, and it's based on industry experts and several decades of experience. This is no joke. And so, Shannon, you just made my day.
Well, I'm glad that we could share. There was a lot more love. I think that was just one of I saw that, and Abby saw
you
that.
Can keep reading. It's okay.
We can keep. Oh, okay. So, Chad, you're the man. Chad, you're the.
I love it.
I think we have time for maybe one or two questions. So, thank you to your team who's actually been answering some of the questions in the chat, which has been fantastic. But I think we had a couple earlier. So I am going to, okay, this is a good one from Thrive Global Travel. I'm a new agent. How much content do you need for Maggie to pick up my brand voice?
Hardly any. No, go write a blog post or two. You can, and I know we're limited on time, but in our marketing center, you can actually access genie. And you go there and tell it who you are and what you're doing, and what's exciting, and what you're studying, and just kind of talk to it. Folks, the hardest thing in the world is to just be yourself, right? It's just be yourself. Now, that's hard, but just talk to it a little bit. Hit the speaker thing or the microphone on your app, and say, I'm a new agent. I'm really interested in the Caribbean. I'm super interested in multi-generational travel because I have 2 young kids, and my parents like to travel with my husband and I. I'm very excited to be working. Just keep talking a little bit. It'll get to know you. We learn more about each other through the choice of words that we make than the actual words themselves. Why did I say I was mad as opposed to pissed off or as opposed to upset? It's that selection of words. So just talk for a little bit, because you can always go back and say, I was just kidding. I'm actually this. You can always tune it up.
Yeah. Well, that's actually all the time that we have, but this has been fantastic. I would go back, Chad, take a look at the comments, because of course, when you're presenting, you can't see them, but there was a lot of love, so much interest in Maggie. I'm super intrigued. There was a lot of, when will we be able to use this if we're not part of Outside Agents? But there are a lot of people in the comments who have not decided which host they're going with. So this was fantastic for them. We've shared all the links. So just for everybody listening.
Let me point something out. If you're currently hosted elsewhere, that's cool. We got a program starts at $26 a month. Dual hosting is very common. We just ask that you run a booking through us every so often. Why on earth would I let you use my stuff for effectively free? Because I know we're awesome. And eventually you'll probably just migrate on over. Awesome and humble, by the way.
Very humble. Very humble. I love it. Thank you so much, Chad, for joining us. Thank you to your team. His team is in the background right now helping us out. Thank you, Abby, and thank you to everyone who's joining us. And you can go back and listen. This will remain in our Facebook group, LinkedIn, and YouTube channel, so you can go back and listen to this anytime. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Shane, I had a blast. Thank you so much.